3 o'clock. And we acknowledge and respect the Indigenous peoples within whose territory, traditional lands we are meeting on today. There's an adoption of the agenda, but we would like to add we'll change a new business. We'll add new business, so that'll be number 5. And 5.1 will be a motion to move funds allocated from the EAP Invest Kootenay placeholder into the grants unspecified placeholder. Is that worded right?
Christine, this is related to the old business item 5.1. Could we do both at the same time? We'll need a financial plan amendment if we want to move a grant. Can we do them both under the same item?
She's talking about.
You're muted, but I hear you. Yes, you think so? Yeah.
Yes, I think because it's like a part of that business, you can move it under old business.
So we can leave the agenda as is, I think.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
2 recommendations under 5.1.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I move we adopt the agenda
Adopt
as
it.
presented.
Okay.
Seconded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gord second. Richard. Okay. Receivable of the minutes from July 7th. No questions, concerns. We're good for that. Okay. So old business, which is that 5.1. You like geothermal funding requests?
Yeah, so I've submitted some documents to you folks. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at them. Basically, we're requesting financial support in the amount of $10,000 to assist with geophysical processing and interpretation of the airborne geophysical survey that we completed. We flew it in May, got the preliminary results and the final report in June. We've now had a chance to review that data. And it's showing us some interesting features, but we need to understand how relevant they are really, and how they tie, what's the actual subsurface geometry, and how does that tie with the geologic structure and the stress regime that we understand to exist. And so the best way to do that is through a 3D inversion, which then kind of takes the data, looks at the 2D and looks at how the data was acquired and whether there was any variances, and accommodates that and builds the 3D model around it. So it's a really important piece of work, and we would like to do that. We've talked to 2 different groups about doing it. Expert Geophysics are capable of doing it, but they're a little bit more expensive. And then CGI, who I've had discussions with since January, are keen to do it, and they're a little bit less money. And I think down the road, they would have the capacity to take the interpretation and the modeling even further, if necessary, with additional data. And so I kind of like the idea of using them for that reason alone. I mean, there is reason to consider Expert because they acquired the data and they would have some familiarity with some of the idiosyncrasies that they encountered in the acquisition phase. But I also understand that Expert will routinely send their inversions to CGI to do the work for them. And so I'd hate to hand them the data, pay them more money, and then find out later that they actually sent it to CGI. So that's my personal recommendation. We have had a meeting with our technical advisors. That's Dr. Catherine Hickson, Dr. Jim Falls, and Michelle Long, who's a geothermal geologist who lives in Kaslo. And the response we got from them was positive and encouraging. And they liked the track that we're on. Catherine Hickson made the comment, looks like you've ticked all the right boxes. So, you know, I think I know they're supportive of doing this work. And we had a discussion then about who would be the best individual to interpret the data. And you want someone who has geothermal experience. And there's a Canadian fellow, Jeff Witter, who actually was on the TAC for Geoscience BC. So I met him through that period of time when we were being funded by them. And I actually ran into him again in Calgary at the conference. He has a company called Innovate Geothermal. He's based in Vancouver, and he's one of the folks that was recommended. Catherine Hickson said she would actually, if she had her wish, she would like Mark Kula to do it. And Mark Kula is a colleague of Jim Faulds at the University of Nevada, Reno. And he's got a resume that's a mile long in terms of his work in geothermal. And so he would be excellent to have him review the results. And so both of those folks are being considered. Once we have the funding in place, we would check to make sure that they had interest and availability to actually do it. So I don't know if you have any questions, if that all makes sense.
Any questions?
Yeah, well, we have, lots of background on this, so
Mm-hmm.
I guess the point is the question, how much money, if we're gonna do this phase to move, and then are they gonna be, like you said, there may be other work to do beyond that.
Right, and I'm thinking down the road. I mean, kind of notionally, the steps that I see right now would be to kind of complete this technical work,
The 3D.
this 3D and the interpretation of it.
Mhm.
We would then proceed with a geothermal permit, and we've drafted one, and we're still waiting for feedback on that. And the beauty of the airborne survey is it gave us a fairly good idea as to what area would be the most appropriate for a permit. And so you're not just blindly out there
Yeah.
requesting acreage that's not relevant.
Mhm.
And so the other thing is, I guess, you know, we look at it with rather, I would say, immature eyes, because we don't have a ton of geothermal experience, to be honest. And so what we're seeing looks interesting, but we need to understand what else it might represent and how likely is that. If it's not fractured reservoir with geothermal fluids in it, what else could that represent? And so we want to understand the variables or the different scenarios that we're dealing with, and then we can then look at the likelihood of those scenarios and put it into a proper kind of risk perspective. And so once you have a geothermal permit in place, then you would go and you would do what they call geothermal gradient well testing. And you drill 200 to 300 meter wells in a pattern. And so, for example, if you had a couple of features that you liked, you would drill a well off the feature, on the feature, off the feature, off the feature, on the feature, off the feature, like that, to try and get an understanding of, does the measured heat flow in the ground actually mirror the geophysical feature that you're seeing? And if you do get that, then that's a huge check mark, because then you know that what you're looking at isn't some other apparition.
Mhm.
And so that would be the step that you would take after you. And then once you had that confidence, then you would pick the best spot to drill a thorough test. And it might be a couple of thousand meters. It might be like $1 million well. I don't know. Really, it depends on what the model suggests. But in terms of further geophysics, we did an airborne geophysical survey, which only sees down, 600 meters or 700 meters. But you can do a ground-based survey that can see down, depending on how you design it, can see down several kilometers. And so that's something that you would consider undertaking prior to drilling a deep well. And then you would want to invert all of that data together.
Right.
Model it. So I guess the question is like if CGI or whoever does the modeling, then will the interpretation be, you describe them as consultants, the two experts? Will they do it as part of academia? Or do they do that for a fee? Like, do they
Well,
have companies or?
I think if Mark Kula would do it, he may do it as an academic on a pro bono basis, just like his colleague Jim Faulds is volunteering his time. But like I didn't want to assume that they would do it for nothing, because if he's not available, he's also approaching retirement. Then I would need to go to Jeff Witter, who does this for his livelihood, and he's a lot younger. And I would suggest he probably wouldn't do it for nothing, but I don't know that. So that's why I allocated some funds for interpretation.
If I can sort of do the money thing.
Yeah,
The chance of us having a consultant to resume the Economic Action Partnership in the month of August is approximately zero, because so far as I know, there's still no expression of interest. But anyway, we have the 25,560 allocated for contracted services, 2,100 and change per month. So 5 more months would be 10,600. 4 more months, it was September, October, November, December. Excuse me, the hiccups. Last 4 months of the year would be $8,500. Maybe it'd be the last 3 months of the year. But there's easily we could move, I would think, 15,000 or more out of that. We have right now, out of the 19,000 total year budget, we've used 11,700. We have $7,750 available in the grant allocation. So if we moved a number like the majority of the money, $15,000, that would bring us up over 20, it's 22,000. So once the model is complete, there'd be flexibility to look at who would be able to actually do the interpretation. Or maybe you need someone else to write a grant. So Robin just made it. Christine has
Hi, Christine.
started the meeting finally. So if we're gonna move money, I guess that's what I'm wondering, instead of doing more than one financial plan amendment.
Do one.
I mean, it would make sense to make contracted zero in case we actually get the EAP going again. But right now that money's just parked.
So I'm sorry, Gary, what was the number you had there for monthly for EAP? I guess it's zero. But
Well,
divided by-
we've allowed about 2,100 a month.
Okay.
So if we left all of August through the end of the year, we'd need 10,000 and change.
Right.
So we could move $15,000 and have lots of leeway. We could move more than that, but you don't want to necessarily move money and invite higher prices either. So.
Yeah. I mean, there's seven something still left sort of in that grants unspecified. It's
7,750. So if we
750.
move 15,000 from contracted services to grants, we'd have 23,750.
Yeah.
Then we could make recommendations on the next phases of this
Right.
project.
Yeah. I like that recommendation because I don't want it to just sit there and not do anything. I'd rather it be making progress with a, sort of more of a current existing project or being able to have some more progress on something else.
Well, also I'm thinking like Gord and Dan have academics lined up who are familiar with the project, who might be able to just do the work.
Yeah,
And a year from now, you might be gone. So
yeah,
it just makes sense to be ready to keep going.
Yeah.
Just in case somebody does say they're gonna retire and travel the world for a year. That's
Yeah.
it. You've lost the person who knows what's going on.
yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So my thought, and catch you up with it, Robin, Christina is doing so far reporting.
He's recording the meeting as well.
But I was thinking a first recommendation before because we don't have enough money to cover what this next phase is anticipated to be, but first recommendation could be to move that the 2026 financial plan for S107 Area AEDC be amended to reduce the allocation for contracted services to one number and to increase the allocation for grants to whatever. So we could say to reduce, we could say we moved 15,560. So we reduce the contracted service to just $10,000.
Yeah,
And then adding that to the 7750, then we would be, we'd be bringing the allocation for grants up to 23,310. Then it gives us quite a bit of flexibility in case there's another specialist needed in through the course of this year. I don't know if you got the numbers, Christine. I didn't put any numbers in chat.
Do you mind just repeating it with the numbers? That would be great.
Yeah,
I
okay,
have
so
reducing by 10,000.
Okay, yeah, we could,
Or reduce allocation.
well, either not reducing by that we reduce, they reduce the allocation for contracted services to $10,000.
Yeah.
And to increase the allocation for grants to $23,310.
Got it.
So I don't know, I guess I'd make that recommendation so we're ready for the next several months.
I could.
So looks like that was seconded and approved.
Sorry, approved it, seconded and approved.
Christine's not here,
Yeah.
but Robin's here, she'll keep us on.
Yeah. Yeah. 18, 500.
So then the application that Robin added to the minutes or whatever, that's for $10,000 right now. So that'd be our second recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't put wording in the,
They're wording
so I guess the wording would be that the area AEDC approve the application in the amount of $10,000 for. And then I closed it, so I don't have what it is. Do you have it there with the description was 3D modeling, I guess?
Yeah.
Or what are the proper words scored?
Do you want basically what's in here?
Yeah, that's the one I closed.
It's right there.
Oh, yeah, you printed the whole thing. This is easier. So the area AEDC approved the grant application in the amount of $10,000 to South Kootenay Lake Community Services Society for the 3D inversion of the data, the phase 4 data. Is that good enough?
Phase 6 data.
Phase 6.
Yeah.
For the 3D inversion of the phase 6 data. How did we get to 6?
In 2026, we started in 2020.
Yeah.
I know. Blink.
Wait, what? Okay. All in favor? Gary, Richard, Gina. Gord, of course, is sitting back abstaining.
And Forrest.
And Forrest,
said-
I vote yes. Yeah, Forrest is in there too.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Carried, passed. Thank you. And then the next thing on the agenda is public time. Does our observer want to say anything? Okay. And then our next meeting date is scheduled for September, sorry, I don't have my glasses on. September 8th, 2026 at 2 p.m.
Normal time.
Normal time.
Same place.
Yeah, the same place like Kokanee Springs Resort Meeting Room, same place. Yeah. And online. Yeah. All right.
Which
Well,
date is it? September 8th?
September 8th. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so, okay. That being said, I will adjourn the meeting at 3:23. Great,
Thanks, everyone.
thank you, everybody.
Recording stopped.
Christine, so
Yep.
did you get Forrest joined the meeting at about 3:04, I guess?
I did, yeah. Yeah.
And then I didn't see the time that Robin, when did you, but you
We
show,
don't-
you show that, you just
Yeah.
support people.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Robin, I'll send my notes your way.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.